Mio padre non me li lascia fare i disegni. Sai? Vai ora, prima che torni zia Grace. Come ti chiami? Ernesto. E tu? Luna. Grazie, Ernesto.
I'd like to take a moment of your time to discuss about Red Hands, a work in progress, a stop-motion animated feature of about 16 minutes that's been developed by a relatively newly born Italian film studio called Satva Films. Now, at the Future Film Festival, 2 weeks ago by the time I'm recording this, I was only able to participate in one of the special events, the events in which artists and members of the industries meet up with the audience to talk about projects and the future of the medium itself, because I was otherwise too occupied watching films upon films, but I'm glad I actually managed to participate to this particular special event, this focus, if you will, especially since I unfortunately missed the Laika Studio special event, because yes, Laika Studio was in Bologna and I missed it. I had to watch films to write about them. Don't blame me. Regardless, I'm glad I managed to participate, to be part of the audience for the Focus event, because they got to talk about Red Hands, which, like I said, is currently in phase of development. Actually, it has currently run out of money, of a budget, because making stop-motion animation is really expensive, especially for a studio that has just begun, and it's really hard to find a budget to begin with, because this is supposed to be an animation not for an audience of children, but for an audience of teenagers that talks about child abuse. The theme of this film is supposed to be child abuse. You do realize that this kind of pitch is hard to propose to members of the industry, to the big houses with big money, to finance your project. On one hand, there is not yet an industry specific for this kind of audience demographic and this kind of thematic to be approached via an animation. But on the other hand, there is a desire to have this industry, this specific age demographic oriented products to be made, because with the age we live on, the internet and YouTube and all of that, there is a need for the old media, for cinema and television, to amplify their old views in order to keep up with the times. But regardless, this is a stop-motion animated feature project, and it's hard to find money for that kind of practice, and it is especially hard to do so in a country such as Italy. A country that, for lack of a better term, is completely and utterly culturally putrefied. It's like the zombie outbreak post-apocalyptic equivalent of culture in this country, in this godforsaken country. Things are so bad that I pretty much give for granted that an Italian product, a film or otherwise Italian product, is going to be garbage by default. I mean, a good product is the exception, not the rule. This is how bad things are in Italy. So, to see a newborn Italian animation studio to be born with the desire of making a stop-frame animated film about a complex argument such as child abuse, it's not only ambitious, some would say it's also unreachable as a goal, but it's the kind of project you really want to see done. And the people who are making this film, who are currently working on it, are absolutely passionate about it. And somehow they also managed to find some backing from private sponsors, other than public sponsors, because yes, having private sponsors is the way to go for any indie project nowadays, for any new project, because private sponsors don't have to worry about a larger picture, a larger monetary picture, as the industry does. So that's a good thing. And even though they have currently run out of money and the film is still incomplete, I know for a fact that they still want to see this film done, and they went just too far to stop right now. Regardless if the film itself turns out not to be as good as its hype seems to be, this is a project that deserves to be finished. This is a project that deserves to have a chance to shine because it is something utterly new to have in the Italian scenario of cinema and animation. This is a quality product in its own right. And I don't think people have much appreciation for how much difficult and time-consuming it is to animate in stop motion. Not only you have to build character models and the city models in which the story is taking place from scratch, which is also expensive, you also have to change a position and a facial expression of a given character for shots that are less than a second long, in order to have the reachable quota of 25 frames per second in your stop-motion animation. It's hard, time-consuming work, and it costs money, which was, at the end of the day, the biggest obstacle this studio had to overcome, and it's still in the process of overcoming. I don't really know what to expect from this. I mean, I do know they explain the synopsis. There is this little girl who has mysterious powers that can generate red paint from her hand, and she basically graffiti up the entire city. And there is this boy, and the story is told from the perspective of this boy, who meets her, and they both have difficult, yet opposite in difficulty, family situations. This is about as much as I know about the story, without giving you any preemptive spoilers, that is. Spoilers that were accidentally thrown to the audience during the special event. So, I just put together this video and this commentary just to spread the word about this film that hopefully will be made at some point soon. Because I really want this film to be known, because I want this film to be pioneering a possible new cinematic and mediatic reality for this culturally dead country that I live in. And even though it's wish fulfillment at this point to hope for such a thing, it is not completely out of reality to imagine this film will be completed someday. And for now, that's all I hope for. So, there you go. This is Red Hands, currently a work in progress. I hope I at least managed to appeal to your interest. This has been Madhog Die Master. See you soon.